And
Just
if you
go.
just go outside.
I know. I love how you always say, you guys, don't overcomplicate things. Just go outside. It's that simple because it gradually comes. And you're right. I think you start to feel better. You feel drawn to getting up in the morning. And even if it's cloudy, even if it's raining, even if there's a snow blizzard, the rays are still there. Just go outside for 1 minute, 3 minutes. Don't second guess it. Just get your butt outside.
Sometimes,
Enough
sometimes
said.
I use harsher language than that, but yeah, just get your butt outside.
I love that. This is we're gonna make this into a meme. Just get Dr. Hunt says, just get your butt outside. I love that. So the real true importance for so many people again who have 9 to 5 jobs and they're not able to be outside, and we're really supposed to be exposed to the all of the array of rays because they're like a symphony that really play our body.
Let me
So
give you the science behind that real quick. We
yep.
know that there are waves of light that will heal leprosy. We know that there are waves of light that will heal a skin condition that comes with tuberculosis. We know that there are waves of light that will heal T-cell lymphoma. We know that there are rays of light that will heal eczema. We know that there are rays of light that will heal psoriasis. There are things that we know. We know that that light will excite histidine and heal your histamine intolerance in the right state, practicing ketosis, fasting, refeeding, hunt, feast, fast, and the other F word is what I call it. We know some of these things. We know that it will heal blindness, and like as I was just explaining, or heal vision problems as I was just explaining.
Mhm.
Some of these things we've discovered, some of these things we haven't. It's those rays of light. Another example would be, why do we need astaxanthin? To protect us from certain ways of the sun.
Mhm.
Why have we evolved with these molecules in our body, either things that we eat or things that we already exist with, to protect us from certain rays of the sun? Because we evolved under all of the light of the sun. We are so, I say this, we are in an endosymbiotic thermodynamic love affair with the sun. That is a very scientific way to say that we have to be sun lovers.
Let's stay on the physical for just a moment. I would love for you to address the three interrelated things. So vitamin D, which reproduced through the skin by our exposure to the sun, and we can't make it without cholesterol. Yet ketogenic diet and how we heal ourselves, the cholesterol naturally goes up. So there's an army of people for whom cholesterol is higher than usual. We're going to dispel some myths here, and they're being threatened by their physicians and scared into taking medication. So I would love for you to talk about, especially folks in the northern hemisphere, with the position of the sun, what happens after today, how we need cholesterol and sun to make vitamin D, and let's dispel the myth around cholesterol. You up
Okay,
for it?
I'm up for it.
Just a few things there for you.
Okay. Let me go through the checklist. Okay. Cholesterol makes your hormones. So for you to be that beautiful woman sitting there with your estrogen and your progesterone, or for a hunky man to be sitting there to make testosterone, cholesterol is the backbone. It's made in your mitochondria. It converts to a molecule called pregnenolone, which becomes all of your steroid hormones. Without cholesterol, you don't have your hormones. So that's one of the reasons when people get put on a statin, their hormones crash and burn. We had a major push in the last century to give people statins to lower cholesterol without people thinking about what it would do to our hormones. So for example, when your husband goes on a statin, it drops his pregnenolone, it drops his DHEA, it drops his testosterone, it drops his mojo.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
cholesterol in your skin will make vitamin D. So it is cholesterol that gets converted to vitamin D when you irradiate it with ultraviolet B light. And ultraviolet B light, the reason I always do this with my hands is that's the last wave of light, or the last photon of light, or the last particle of light that comes through the atmosphere. So your vitamin D window where you live is getting very narrow right now.
Mhm.
Cholesterol coats our brain. It allows us to have synaptic fire in our brain. There are studies that show that the people who die with the higher cholesterol have less dementia, better cognition. Women in their 70s and 80s out of Europe do better with higher total cholesterol. The enzyme in your liver that makes you make ketone bodies. So you release fatty acids, they go to your liver and they make ketones, and that's what you can burn for fuel. Also increases your cholesterol. That's what's supposed to happen. So when you overlay that with what's supposed to happen summer, winter, in the summer, you're supposed to be outside hunting, fasting, and refeeding, gathering food for the winter, exercising. You were never supposed to sit inside on the couch for 50 winters, driving to Safeway, eating Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas parties, Martin Luther King weekend, Super Bowl, Easter, and St. Patrick's Day junk. You were supposed to have fasted in the spring. As the spring was coming, you were fasting. Food was getting sparse. That's the whole like Nordic tradition that became the Ash Wednesday. I know I'm saying a lot now, and then the sun would return to the northern hemisphere, the plants would grow, you would have a little bit of carbohydrates from the plants that clean the soil of the heavy metals. Those heavy metals would go into you, and then you would go back into a winter where you would fast and you would go into ketosis, and the acetone that you would make in ketosis would clean the fat, the plaque, cholesterol out of your vessels. And then the summer would come and you would make vitamin D out of it. That is, if someone had taught every single person, which is what originally all religions were supposed to teach us, to fast. If someone had taught every child like to do that, to practice that, to live with the sun in the summer and the fasting or the sparsity of food and the scarcity of food in the winter, we wouldn't have so much disease. People would never get inflamed, and for the most part, and get sick. So it's that annual cycle of the plants that clean the environment in the summer, of the heavy metals that you eat a little bit of in the summer, and then you go fasting into the winter, or with your meat and your cheese and whatever fermented food probiotics that you would have had in the winter. And then you come back to the spring, you clean yourself. This is why religions practice fasting in the spring, at least Christianity, to prepare for the fruits and vegetables, the few fruits and vegetables that would grow on the trees if you lived in Germany, if you lived in, Northern Europe. And then you would do the same thing again. So we're chasing this ball of nuclear fusion through the night sky as it moves around the black hole in the center of our universe. We need to learn to live like that.
Okay. So people who are following you right now and they're really freaking out because the cholesterol is higher, fear not, because it is supposed to be used and you can't live without it.
If they live in a low carbohydrate state most of the time. It's the carbohydrates that are the trigger. So when you flip your glycolysis to ketosis switch, you increase your energy production, you make beta hydroxybutyrate, you lower your inflammatory reaction, you heal the inflammation, which I just think of as swelling. If you just think of inflammation as swelling, you're going to get this, right? If you go out and have a bunch of pizza and beer, what happens the next morning? Your fingers are swollen, you blow up, you're puffy, you can't see as well, you have to put your glasses on. Some people get tinnitus and vertigo. Chronic beer and pizza makes you puffier and puffier and puffier. That's inflammation. And the same inflammation that you feel on your swollen ring is the inflammation that you feel in your hip joint. That's why your hips hurt the next day, or why you have brain fog, or why you have tinnitus or vertigo. So if you start to realize that, I might go to the ear, nose, and throat doctor for my ear problem, and I might go to the orthopod for my hip problem, it's still the same system of issues, of inflammatory issues going on.
And for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, you talk about there's a lamp, it's called Spurdy, that helps you create vitamin D in the winter that you can use 3 to 5 minutes every single day, but still go outside because you're still getting the symphony.
All the other colors, yes.
All the other colors necessary for the survival. I just love